questions. And we have some interesting questions. Most of the questions focus on serving the bottom of the pyramid, or serving people who are MicroLead targets, like women, smallholder farmers, people in rural areas, and low-income savers, right? So there were a few questions in that area, and some overlap. A number of you were talking about savings groups, how to best serve savings groups. We also have formal financial services, so how to reach these groups with more formal services. And some overlap to DFS too. Quite a bit of the questions that you're asking, which is good because we have a focus on digital financial services during the seminar, the learning event, are on digital financial services, the great majority of the questions. And then we have a few more general questions around customer engagement, financial literacy, and listening to clients. What I'd like for you to do is, when you have, I don't know what's happening with the microphone, sorry. When you have a minute, come up and take a look. At the end of the workshop, we'll come back to see which of these questions have been answered. I made you really kind of take it down. I know you have many more questions than this, but since we only have 4 days together, 3.5 days together, and a limited number of sessions, we have to force a little bit of consensus and force a trimming of the questions. Some of the more interesting questions, and raise your hand if your session might answer this. We had some interesting questions about the MicroLead exit strategy and what's next. Is there anywhere we're talking about that? Any idea? Maybe during the evaluation?
Maybe during the evaluation we can discuss that as well.
Okay, so you might get an answer to that during the evaluation. We had people asking, what is the next big thing for VSLAs and other informal financial services, and how they evolve digital financial services? Are there any sessions that will talk about that, the next big thing for VSLAs, especially regarding technology? Is there anyone who's planning to talk about that in their plenary or breakout session? And VSLAs.
I think Nathan.
Nathan, yeah. So that's the Yugafod, Mida, and Busagonota session. If that is your question, think about going to that session, because you might get your question answered there. We had, how do we bridge the gap between financial illiteracy and digital financial services? Is there any session about financial literacy? Freedom from Hunger is going to talk about financial literacy. Are you talking also about DFS at all?
Yes.
Yes, okay. So if that's your question, make sure you go to that session. And I'll pick out one more. This is an interesting question. Will MFIs continue to have a role when MNOs offer all the different types of financial services? That's a very interesting question. Is anyone talking about how MFIs or financial service providers can still have a role in digital and can move forward without the MNOs taking over all of your business? Is anybody talking about that in their session?
In the PHP development session regarding DFS, we will address some of the
This is good because I don't think I can make it everywhere in the room. This is Aurelie, and she's from PHP development. She didn't talk to you this morning about her session, so I'll let you say a few words now.
Thank you. So yeah, on Thursday during the digital financial service session, we'll address some of the business models we see for the microfinance institutions and how they evolve with all the players getting involved into this ecosystem, in particular the MNOs and other type of providers getting involved, and we'll discuss some of the challenges and some of the innovation that could be potential mitigation and potential options for the MFIs to take the lead.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think we've heard very good things about the session, and there were a number of grantees who wanted PHB to do something. So it will be interesting to see. A number of these questions will be answered. So come and take a look and think about, do you also have the same question? Which breakout session and which plenary might answer the question that I have? And at the end of the workshop, we'll come back and we'll see what have we answered and what have we not yet answered that we might need to deal with a discussion on D groups, for example, later on. But this will give us a framework to come back and take a look at later. All right, I'm going to switch gears a little bit. And as you can see in your program, we want to talk about how far have we come since last year, and where do we still need to go? How do we get to the last mile? I don't think we ever actually do get to the last mile, but how will we get to where we need to go to move forward? You'll remember last year, does anyone remember this from last year? Do you remember this activity? What did we do? Help me out, microphone guy. Qu'est-ce que nous avons fait? What did we do?
Okay.
To Mr. Afuda.
Oui, bonjour tout le monde. Je vais aller en français.
Oui, I'll translate it. Or you can put your headphones on.
L'année passée, on était à 10 points de service fixes et on pensait ajouter une centaine de points de service mobiles. C'est la première ligne. On avait des outils fixes physiques pour travailler, genre ordinateur et tout ça. On a essayé d'évoluer sur le terrain, on voulait que tout se passe avec des portables. Là aussi, quelque chose a été fait. On était dans des zones urbaines, maintenant on est dans beaucoup de zones rurales. Donc ça aussi, on a fait un pas. Maintenant, on n'a pas fait le nombre de pas qu'on a prévu. Par exemple, on pensait déployer tous les 100 agents mobiles avant de venir ici. On a préféré aller doucement. On a déployé à peine 10%, un peu plus de 10%. Au niveau de la clientèle aussi, ça a beaucoup évolué. Nous pouvons parler plutôt de comptes et non de clients. Et même là aussi, les chiffres ont évolué. Dans la présentation de ce soir, j'ai quelques chiffres peut-être qui vont édifier les gens.
Okay.
Voilà. En résumé, on a fait un pas entre l'année passée et cette année.
They've taken one step between last year